If you think you have heard it all and seen it all, then sit down and listen carefully to my story. Because even now, as I tell it, there are nights I wake up sweating, wondering if the man I married ever truly existed. My name is Vicky Williams. I am 45 years old, a mother of two wonderful children, Bella and Zach. For 22 years, I believed I was married to the perfect man, or at least as close to perfect as anyone could be. My husband, Jeff Williams, was respected everywhere he went. He was successful, handsome, intelligent, a devoted church member, an investment broker whose clients trusted him with millions, the kind of husband who never forgot anniversaries, the kind of father who attended school events, the kind of man other women pointed at and said, "You're lucky." For 22 years, I believed I was lucky. Then one phone changed everything, and what I discovered made me question my marriage, my sanity, and my entire life. But even that wasn't the worst part, because the deeper I dug, the more horrifying the truth became. And by the time I uncovered everything, I realized I had never truly known my husband. It started on a Tuesday evening. The weather was unusually hot. I was sitting in the living room when the doorbell rang. When I opened the door, a delivery man stood outside holding a small package. "Good evening, ma'am." "Good evening." "I was sent by Mr. Jeff's phone repair shop." I immediately understood. That morning, Jeff had dropped one of his phones on our marble floor. The screen went black. The phone refused to turn on. He rushed it to a repair shop before leaving for work. Earlier that afternoon, he called me. "Vicky, if the repair shop delivers my phone before I get home, please receive it for me." No problem. Lagos traffic had trapped him somewhere in the city, so I accepted the package. The delivery man waited. "I need confirmation that it's working properly." I nodded. "Give me a second." I switched on the phone. Immediately, the screen lit up. Then a message appeared. The sender's name caught my attention. Tomato Joe's. I frowned. Who names themselves Tomato Joe's? Then I opened the message, and my blood froze. "Call me back, babe. It's important. I've been trying to reach you. The builders want to know if you want our bedroom renovated too. Call me." "Babe? Our bedroom?" I stared at the screen. My heart suddenly started beating faster. Surely this was a mistake. Surely there was an explanation. The delivery man was still standing there. I forced a smile. "Everything is working." I tipped him. He left. Then I locked the front door and returned to the couch. For a long moment, I simply stared at the message. Maybe it was business. Maybe Tomato Joe's was a client. Maybe, but deep inside, I already knew something was wrong. Very wrong. I opened the chat, and my world began to collapse. The messages went back years, not weeks, not months, years. I saw romantic messages, good morning texts, good night texts, messages about vacations, messages about church, messages about family dinners, messages about money, messages about renovations, messages about daughters named Maureen and May, voice notes, pictures that refused to load because the phone was still syncing. Then I noticed something even stranger. Two contacts, big girl 1, big girl 2. Their messages said things like, "Love you, Dad." "Thanks, Dad." "See you tomorrow, Dad." "Dad? Dad." I sat frozen. What was happening? Who were these people? Why were they calling my husband Dad? And why did their conversations sound like they lived with him? For 2 hours I searched. By the time Jeff returned home, my hands were trembling. The front door opened. He walked in. The moment he saw the phone in my hand, his face changed, only for a second. But I noticed fear, pure fear. "When did they bring it?" "Not long ago." He grabbed it quickly, too quickly. Then he noticed it wasn't locked. His expression darkened. Idiots! What happened? The repair people left it unlocked. His anger seemed excessive, almost desperate. I watched him carefully. That night, I couldn't sleep. Something wasn't right. Something was terribly wrong. And for the first time in 22 years, I decided to investigate my husband. Before I continue, please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back and thank you so much. Now, let's get back to the story. The next morning, I got lucky. Jeff was in a hurry. While he showered, he left the phone charging. I picked it up and started searching. This time, photos loaded. The first picture shattered my heart. Jeff stood beside a beautiful woman, his arm around her waist, both smiling. The date? 3 months earlier. My hands shook. Affair. That was my first thought. My husband was cheating. I felt sick, but that was only the beginning. I copied numbers, saved screenshots, collected information. Then I hired a private investigator. I didn't tell anyone, not even my children. The investigator worked quietly. 2 weeks later, he called. Mrs. Williams, I found her. My heart pounded. Who is she? Her name is Nora Daniels. I swallowed hard. Is she having an affair with my husband? The investigator went silent. Then he said words that changed everything. No. What do you mean, no? She's not having an affair with him. My voice shook. Then what is she? Another silence. Then, Mrs. Williams, Nora is legally married to Jeff Williams. The phone nearly slipped from my hand. What? They are legally married. No. Yes. No, that's impossible. I verified the marriage certificate. I couldn't breathe. The room began spinning. I sat down because my legs suddenly felt weak. Legally married to Jeff before me? How? How was that possible? I was his wife. I married him 22 years ago. We had children together. We had a wedding. Family attended. Church attended. Everyone knew. So who was Nora? Or worse, who was I? A week later, I traveled secretly to Abuja where Nora lived. I needed answers. I needed to see her with my own eyes. I parked across the street from the address. Then I waited. An hour later, a woman emerged. Beautiful, elegant, confident, around my age. Then my heart stopped because another person stepped out behind her. Jeff, my husband, holding groceries like a husband returning home. He kissed her forehead, then entered the house. I nearly screamed. My entire body went numb. 22 years. 22 years. And my husband had another family, not another woman. Another family. I returned home broken, but something still didn't make sense. How did nobody know? How did he manage this? How did he split his time? Then the investigator uncovered something shocking. Jeff wasn't traveling for business, at least not most of the time. Every trip, every conference, every seminar, every investment meeting, many were lies. He divided his life. 3 days with me, 4 days with Nora, then switched. For over 20 years, nobody suspected. Nobody, not even me. When I finally confronted him, he collapsed into a chair. His face turned pale. He knew the secret was over. Please listen. Listen, I laughed. A painful laugh. You have 2 wives. Tears filled his eyes. I can explain. Explain 22 years of lies. Please. No. He buried his face in his hands. Then he revealed something that stunned me. I never meant for this to happen. Really? I thought Nora was dead. I froze. What? He looked up. and began telling a story I had never heard before, a story that raised even more questions. Years before meeting me, he married Nora. A year later, violent unrest broke out in the region where they lived. Their apartment building burned. Many died. Jeff searched everywhere. He couldn't find Nora. Authorities declared her dead. He mourned her. Eventually, he moved away. Then years later, he met me, fell in love, married me, started over. I wanted to believe him. I almost did. Until I asked one question. When did Nora come back? His silence answered everything. Because according to records, Nora returned 18 years ago. Not 22, 18. Which meant Jeff knew she was alive and chose to keep both marriages for 18 years. I thought that was the worst secret. I was wrong. Because the investigator uncovered another truth, one even darker. Jeff wasn't just hiding two families, he was hiding money, millions, offshore accounts, secret properties, hidden investments, properties neither Nora nor I knew existed. Then one night, while searching through old documents, I found something that terrified me. A birth certificate. My name wasn't on it. Neither was Nora's, but Jeff's name was. The mother? A woman named Sandra. I had never heard of her. When I confronted Jeff again, his face drained of color. Who is Sandra? Silence. Jeff. Still silence. Then he whispered, my sister. I didn't believe him. Neither did the investigator. And what we discovered next changed everything. Sandra wasn't his sister. Sandra was another woman, and she had a son. A son who was 24 years old, older than Bella, which meant Jeff had been living multiple lives long before I met him. Everything exploded. Families collided. Secrets surfaced. Nora learned about me. I learned about Sandra. Sandra learned about Nora. Children learned about siblings they never knew existed. Church members learned. Friends learned. Business partners learned. Jeff's perfect image crumbled overnight. The man everyone admired became the man everyone discussed. But then something happened. Something none of us expected. Jeff disappeared. One morning, he was gone. His phone's off, his office empty, his bank accounts frozen. Nobody knew where he went. Weeks passed, then months. Police became involved. People speculated. Some believed he fled. Others believed he was kidnapped. Then a package arrived, addressed to me. Inside was a flash drive and a note. The note read, if you are watching this, then they found me before I could tell you everything. My hands trembled. Who found him? I inserted the flash drive. A video appeared. Jeff sat in a dark room. Older, tired, terrified. Then he spoke. Vicky, if you're watching this, everything you know is wrong. My heart pounded. There's a reason I kept the families apart. I stared, confused. Then he said words that chilled my blood. I wasn't hiding from you. A pause. I was hiding from them. Them? Who? The video continued. There are people who have been looking for me for over 25 years. My mouth went dry. Then he revealed a name. A name I had never heard before. And the moment I heard it, I realized Jeff's secret life was far bigger than cheating, lies, or multiple families. Much bigger, because according to Jeff, everything started with a fortune that was never supposed to exist. A fortune connected to powerful people, dangerous people, people willing to kill. And just as he was about to explain who they were, the video suddenly ended, cut off abruptly, as if someone had stopped it or someone had found him. I replayed it again and again. But there was nothing more, only darkness, and one terrifying question: was Jeff a liar? Or was he telling the truth for the first time in his life? And if he was telling the truth, then where is he now? And who exactly has been hunting him all these years? Because 3 days after I watched that video, a black SUV parked outside my house. A stranger stepped out. He looked directly at me. Then he handed me an envelope. Inside was a photograph. The photograph showed Jeff, alive, standing beside a man I had never seen before. On the back of the photograph, someone had written 6 chilling words: "Stop searching before you disappear too." I stood frozen, my hands shaking, because for the first time, I realized my husband's secret wasn't over. It was only beginning, and I had just become part of it. That was how my life changed the day I went through my husband's phone. What I thought was a simple suspicion became a journey that exposed secrets, lies, hidden families, and truths I never imagined existed. The man I believed I knew had been living multiple lives, and uncovering them shattered my heart, but it also opened my eyes. In the end, I learned that the truth may hurt, but living a lie hurts even more. Sometimes the darkest secrets are revealed not to destroy us, but to give us the courage to rebuild our lives stronger, wiser, and free. And as I stood there holding that final mysterious envelope, I realized that some stories do not truly end when the truth is exposed. They only begin. The question is, would you have checked your spouse's phone if you suspected something was wrong? Life lesson: secrets built on lies may survive for years, but the truth always finds a way to come into the light. Be careful who you trust, because sometimes the people closest to you are carrying lives you never imagined. Before you watch the next video, please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Your support helps this channel grow. Thank you so much for watching.